Welcome everybody that's already joined. We'll be kicking off in a few minutes once we get more people in here, but excited to be talking today with my colleague and counterpart here, Alex, a little bit about AI. But again, we'll give it a few minutes to make sure we get everybody in here that's able to attend today's webinar.
I had to look down at my watch to realize that it's December 19th. I was like, oh, we got the date wrong. No, it's like we're at the end of the year pretty much.
End of the year.
It's wild.
There's two things that are happening right now across go-to-market teams. It's get as many deals closed as possible, and have you done your Christmas shopping, and how are you going to sneak it in?
Yes.
Welcome everybody. We'll be kicking off here in just 1 minute and give people a couple minutes, as I think we're all used to running a couple minutes behind from one Zoom meeting to the next today. So welcome. Alex, what's big on your Christmas wish list this year? We'll start there as the key question.
So I have a feeling that my 11-year-old and my 8-year-old are not on the webinar currently, and probably won't watch it between now and next Monday. But the big thing is the PS5. So that was
oh, there we go.
We've got an Xbox that's 5 years old or so, and my 11-year-old's been chirping at me saying that the graphics on the PS5 for EAFC. He's a big soccer guy. So the EAFC graphics on PS5 are apparently the best out there. So PS5 is the big exciting gift. So it's so exciting that my wife is saying, we gotta set it up tomorrow, because Christmas morning they're gonna want to play, and I'm sure there's gonna be firmware updates and all the other stuff that you got to download. So
there you go. So the real question is it really for the kids, or is it really for you?
It's for them, but I will partake. I usually get my butt handed to me every time I play him in soccer, because he can score on like every corner with a bicycle kick, and I have no clue how to defend it. So
awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We're about 3 minutes past the top of the hour. I'm sure we'll have some people trailing into the meeting. As I mentioned before, we're all typically running a few minutes late from one Zoom meeting to the next. But it's great to have everybody here today. Just a couple of things. One, this will be recorded today. So we will share it out to everybody in attendance and those that registered as well. We'll be hosting it on the Rattle website in addition. Last piece of little homework. We will be launching some polls here, so feel free to participate as throughout today's conversation as you feel like participating around that. So I just wanted to launch those right now, but let's go and jump into today's topic. So as you can see, we are here to talk about AI and the impact it is having on sales leaders and the go-to-market motion today, and not just the impact, but just the trends and what's going on. And as you can see, how do you do this without all the BS, as we like to say, that's happening in the space around it? Because there's a lot of information that I think we're all trying to consume and figure out how to utilize. With that, my name is Andrew Bothwell. Whoa, jumped a couple slides there. There we go. I'll have to use the arrow. Andrew Bothwell, SVP of Revenue here at Rattle. Had the opportunity to lead some amazing go-to-market teams at Zendesk, TalkDesk, WalkMe. Now here at Rattle. Was also a customer for 2 years at Rattle. So I have both perspectives of what we're seeing from the marketplace today, but also being a user Rattle from an AI perspective and what we're doing today at the organization. And I'm joined by a good friend and colleague of mine, Alex Ball. We've known each other for, I think, over 12 years now, Alex, something like that. It's crazy how it flies.
Absolutely.
I think we age really well as well. So we keep looking younger. But Alex, love for you to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super stoked to be here. Like Andrew said, we've been slinging deals together for 12 plus years at different companies. It's really interesting. So I spent about 10 years at Genesys, contact center company. Left and went to a company called Infobip, which is based in Europe, leading the revenue teams in North America. And now I'm at Twilio, leading our sales and go-to-market motions for our contact center products.
Awesome. And just that wealth of experience. And I think we both have seen the evolution of AI, not only now in our current roles, but also from a contact center perspective. I think from my perspective is that the contact center kind of started adopting some of this AI capability early on. And obviously with the proliferation of ChatGPT and everything else over the course of the last year, we're now seeing that accelerate a lot into the go-to-market teams as well.
Yeah, I saw a post, I think it was on LinkedIn yesterday, a couple of days ago, that was a screenshot of a question, a pretty complex math question asked to an AI assistant a year ago, and it got it wrong. And it's like, could you imagine the AI engines of today getting a complex but still simple math problem that you could get right if you just pull out your calculator? And to think of how far AI has come in 12 months is exciting, scary, terrifying, but also creates I think the biggest opportunity for the next 5 years as you adopt and start to integrate stuff into your everyday life.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And there's a lot of interesting data points around the opportunity that we're seeing in the space today. So some exciting, some alarming in some ways too. So if you think about it, over a third of just sales reps, so our individual reps that are out in the field, are trying to figure out how to use AI to automate some of their tasks, whether that's using ChatGPT for an email follow-up or a territory alignment, whatever it might be. There's so many different ways that I think reps are trying to utilize it, and they're trying to figure it out on their own, right? So there's a lot of time that they're spending trying to utilize that. But they're unsure how to get the most value from it, right? I think they're starting to lead into their go-to-market teams. I think it's on every executive table and CIO table and CRO's table of like, what are we going to do around this, right? And I also think there's a piece of it is like, how do you keep control of this? And the big opportunity, which you just said, is over the next 5 years, is like, reps do believe you can automate a lot of tasks. To me, that's a lot of efficiency and a lot of gains. I know we're seeing this, and we'll talk a little bit more, Alex, with you about that. But some interesting stats, and I'm not sure from your perspective, like what you're seeing at Twilio with your go-to-market teams and other people you're talking in the industry around how people believe in this promise as we go forward.
Yeah, I think everybody knows it's coming. And I think there's a wide variety of realities of how do you make it work and how do you make it work effectively? Because one of the things that I think the AI disruption is going to create the biggest opportunity, but it also has the potential of creating the biggest amount of negative disruption for those that do it, those that implement it poorly, those that choose the wrong things to infuse AI into. So I think that's where the humans play a really important role of figuring out how to tactfully deploy AI in the right spots.
Yeah, I can't agree. For me, that big piece is the human piece. At the end of the day, like there's still going to be a place for humans as we think about this. As you think about, as we kind of dive into this, as you think about like humans, like what for you, like what do you think is next over the next year from an AI perspective, and how are you guys thinking about it today at Twilio, and how you guys leverage this for your go-to-market teams?
So from a go-to-market standpoint, a lot of it, you look back to some of the stats you had on the slide right before around tasks, around stuff that reps need to do, stuff that leaders need to do. I think that's where I see the biggest opportunity for the next kind of proliferation of AI in our world. I am a big believer that you can't replace the human aspect of doing business. At the end of the day, people buy from people. They don't buy from machines. I mean, in some cases they buy from machines, but most of the time people in enterprise software sales are buying from people. And you can't automate that. In my opinion, you can't automate that entirely, but the things that weigh us down create the biggest opportunity. So that's where all the different systems that we have, the integration points between those, how do we automate that? How do we glean data from all of the different pieces? One of the things that we're really focused on is the value of data as it relates to AI, because you can do a great AI model all day long, but if you have crappy data behind the scenes, it's going to be a crappy model. Like the output's still pretty crappy. So you got to get the data right. So there's a role in making sure data is up to date, that it's clean, that it's accurate, and that you're pulling from the right sources to make the model actually work.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I have the luxury in my role here at Rattle talking to revenue leaders like yourself, RevOps leaders on a regular basis. And I do think that it's a big piece around AI is that data piece. Data drives the decisions we need to make. And, there's been this proliferation of tech over the last 10 years of, I have an email cadence tool. I have a call intelligence tool. I have a forecasting tool. Obviously we have Salesforce on our backbone, marketing tools, and all these tools that are supposed to be, data going in so that data coming out to make decisions. And so how do you actually leverage AI across these platforms to actually get that data to drive efficiency, better forecasting, better predictability, whatever it might be around those initiatives? And so I do think the AI components have a huge impact on getting those key points that can really change an organization and how you operate today. One of the things you just talked a little bit about was around like no belief in replacing salespeople. And there's a lot of different noise. I mean, if you go on LinkedIn right now, I'm sure your first post is going to be something around, replacing outbound with AI. Like, talk to me a little bit more like where you believe that AI and go-to-market people, salespeople can really come together.
So I'm a big, like, I follow a lot of the sales leaders, sales trainers and whatnot. I think there was a big push into automating cadences, automating outreach, personalizing at scale. And that's really hard to do. Even with the most advanced and sophisticated AI engines, it still screams automation and it screams, inauthenticity. And so that's where I think, to answer directly, will AI replace salespeople? No, absolutely not. Not a chance. I do think it has the opportunity to really enhance product-led growth companies, those that in the low end of the market, in the self-serve or the freemium aspect, can accelerate adoption. Like, I think there's definitely a play there, but wholesale replacing of salespeople or SEs or SDRs, I don't think that happens. I do think AI becomes the catalyst to improving the value of those roles. And so, like, I'm not a big believer in automating my sales cadence. I am a big believer in automating the things that wrap around that sales cadence. Because at the end of the day, I want to write that, like, I want to at least take the pre-written content and customize it myself, because I think that adds a level of authenticity to the message. And I do, one of the things that I learned at Infobip is everybody's job is to prospect at a company. It's not an SDR job, it's everyone's job. And so I'm sending out messages on LinkedIn, and the ones that I get from ChatGPT is pretty good, but the ones that I take and customize and tweak and personalize, I get responses on. And I think that's, when you see who are the salespeople that are going to rise to the top over the course of the next couple of years, it's those that use AI to automate the stuff around their workflow, but still do the work authentically and from a human perspective.
Yeah, I totally agree. And especially with so much, automation around email cadences and all the noise around emails being limited and stuff. I think, from a go-to-market perspective, from a sales perspective, like, you do have to have that personal touch. And, as an AE, you should be really understanding, as we all coach to, the pains and problems of that potential buyer or what's going on in their organization, and be able to craft that information. I do also think.
Now that being said, if you were to really study and research an account a year ago and personalize that message, that's probably going to take you several hours worth of work to research it, to find the right buyers, to find what their interests are, to connect, some unique value prop. But can you take that? AI is going to be able to take that 2 hours and bring it down to 15 minutes, still allowing you to personalize that message and deliver that personal message. But it's all the stuff around it, that pre-work. That's where I see AI from a sales perspective really accelerating our go-to-market motions, but not replacing that personal, hey, Andrew, my name's Alex, I think we should talk because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. And I think the same thing for sales managers as well. Our sales leaders are so important for enforcing our processes, but also just the development of your reps and obviously winning revenue. sales CS SDRs. So how do you automate that visibility into the coaching moments and the opportunity moments, and for them not to be searching for those moments in a dashboard or data or try to extrapolate data? How do you use AI to really do that? And I think that's a huge opportunity for go-to-market teams, and the same thing for RevOps teams. Like, how do we use AI to get visibility into territory management or territory alignment? Or again, as a RevOps person, hey, our process is broken here, we need to fix something, versus hearing it from the field and then trying to extrapolate what the solution might be. So a lot of opportunity, I think, across teams. How do you think teams can get started around AI today? Like, where do you think is, some of the opportunities that you guys are doing at Twilio today and that you've seen?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that the Twilio team is a big adopter of technology. Like, we're probably on the earlier scale, and we're not afraid to try a lot of different things and test it out and see what works, see what doesn't work. I think it's one of the biggest strengths that we have, is our process of kind of reviewing things and testing it in the wild, if you were to say. So I think that, the biggest thing, my recommendation is get started in small bites. I was listening to a podcast this weekend that was talking about the risk of doing AI at scale and getting it wrong is massive, right? You could have really, really negative effect on your business if you try to just turn the proverbial light switch on and let the AI run wild. So I think you gotta dip your toes in. When I think about sales, I think about all that time it takes to do the pre-work. How do we streamline that? I think there's a huge opportunity, like you were just mentioning, in the process of making sure that we're not skipping steps. We're collecting all of the different data points that we need. So my team at Twilio rolled out Rattle probably 5 months ago, something like that, and really started to dive into all the different pieces. Like I said, we're an early adopter of technology. We've got a lot of different tech layers in our ecosystem, and each piece has a little piece of the puzzle. So I've been huge fans of the fact that Rattle's been able to pull all that into one place that allows us to see it. So I'm a big fan of that. But I think depending on what kind of team you're running, if you're an SDR team, you're absolutely looking at how do we use AI to shortcut the research phase, not necessarily the outreach phase, or at least give me the template on the outreach phase that then I can tweak and customize. If you're a sales, either SE or an AE, how do we make sure we're not skipping steps? How can the AI, elevate this? Hey, here's a risk in this deal because we've seen 5 other deals like it, and in those 5 deals you did this, but this one you haven't done it. Those, I think, are the biggest low-hanging fruit, that the risk is relatively low of rolling it out. The tech is already there. And so I think you get a pretty big lift in your close rates and your prospecting open rates, all the different phases of the sales cycle. There's probably one little thing of AI you can roll out that allows you to get a pretty big lift.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Let's jump in a little bit about like what you guys are doing today. So for those on today's webinar who are not familiar with Rattle, there's 4 really key pillars that we do today, and we're going to talk a lot about the AI and around the automating and simplifying pieces. But those 4 pillars are around visualizing. So those blind spots I was talking about before in regards to those processes you have across your go-to-market teams. And then how do you automate and really drive some AI capabilities around that? And then simplifying. So how do you get the data hygiene that you actually need as well? And the last piece is collaboration. And I think a lot of today's conversation will be focused around the collaboration piece. And as Alex was kind of talking about, to visualize this, today you have all this technology that's living across multiple systems, your email cadence, your marketing intent data, Salesforce, Clarity, whatever it might be, and then you have all your processes as well, so that are living in the Google Sheet or maybe Seismic, HighSpot, whatever it might be. And what Rattle does is we bring that together, and we really drive that automation and AI capabilities, and we surface it in a place where your reps are living today and your go-to-market teams, and we're all living, either Slack or Teams. And there's a lot of interesting stats around there that, go-to-market representative or even us as leaders, you're connected to Slack on average 9 hours a day, not only from your desktop, but easily accessible from your phone. And over 30% of our time as sellers is actually spent in one of these tools. So over a third of your day is already spitting one of these tools. So how do you bring all this to life? And with that, let's jump into like one of the things you guys are doing today at Twilio and that we're really excited about. And we're seeing a ton of success across our customers is around deal intelligence and this deal room capability. Talk to us a little bit about how you guys are using intelligence today to drive that visibility into your deals and your sales process and everything else you guys are doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, this honestly, during the evaluation process was the thing I was most excited about is the ability to feel, this takes I've always wanted to feel like I'm in every deal, but I don't necessarily have the time in the day to be physically in every deal, especially with a sales team that's rather large. This helps us get there in the sense that I can join a call, a strategy call, a prep meeting, and be up to date of everything that's happened in that deal, whether it happened in a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting that's coming from the customer side, what's updated in Salesforce or Clary, and quickly review the deal intelligence room and be up to speed and ready to jump into a collaboration meeting very, very quickly. So like we've got it set up. Obviously, the tool is really powerful to set up the different rules. We've got it set up so that every deal over $100,000, I get put in the deal room, the intelligence room. And for the reps and the frontline managers, it's in different criteria on how they get plugged in, but it allows me to pick or actually it doesn't allow me to pick. It tells me what are the most important deals that I need to be involved in. And I love it because, when I jump into a forecast call, it's all the same deals that they're asking me about on the forecast call. So it really helps accelerate that knowledge transfer when I'm ready to go. And I've got all the detail right there.
Yeah. The other thing I love about this from my perspective is actually for my managers as well. Now they have tight collaboration with their AEs, their SEs, their SDRs. And not only that, but the intelligence of them being told what might be happening in the deal behind the scenes, whether it's, hey, this deal is actually stuck in stage. Here are 3 things that you guys should do to go get it unstuck. Or if things are just changing in real time, whether it's like a close date or whatever else, because those are all those real-time coaching moments that you want to be able to leverage that if I go to my dashboard, I still don't know when did that happen, right? And then you create this relationship with the rep of, hey, when did this happen? And let's be honest, it creates this instinct of fear, but now you have this collaboration and joint visibility of, hey, something's going on with this opportunity. How do we work together to go solve for it versus living in silos as we go forward? So
I think we've all had people on our teams or in our organizations that have, they're working on deals and they want to kind of park it to the side because they don't want a whole lot of visibility on it. And this scares them because they're like, oh crap, now everybody's going to see it. But the reality is, regardless of the sales process that you're in, nobody wins over time by themselves. You got to win as a team. You got to collaborate. You got to have multiple people involved in a deal to make it win. So the whole I'm going to park this deal over here on the side and close it when I close it, that doesn't usually work out. It certainly doesn't work out consistently.
Yeah. The piece around intelligence too, and I was just talking about the coaching, is really around our meeting intelligence as well. And so being able to get that deeper analysis, whether you're using Gong, whatever CI tool you might have out there, Core, Zoom, how do you get that data, that information surface in a way that I can actually utilize that information to be able to dive deeper as a manager, to do the real-time coaching? Because we know that we can't be everywhere at the end of the day. And so how do you collaborate the deal intelligence with instant call analysis and call intelligence to be able to get that collaboration and that call coach? I'd be interested to understand more like how you guys are leveraging the media intelligence and call analysis today.
Yeah. So it's different for me versus the frontline managers and the reps. But one of the things that I love about it is I've got 45 minutes blocked off on my calendar every Monday morning. And so I've got our rattle set up so that Monday morning, all of the deal intelligence rooms surfaces an update of what the call analysis is. So what's happened over the last 7 days so that Monday morning I can go through, punch through the ones that I'm involved in that, based on the deal criteria, they've got me plugged in on, and can quickly get up to date on everything that happened in the last 7 days so that we can start the week fresh, be ready for any upcoming calls and whatnot. The managers, I think they have it on a much more daily digest that they're plugged into. And then the reps get it in real time right after the call ends.
Yep. Yeah. And I think the rep efficiency around that too, right? I don't have to go back to Gong to listen to my
Oh,
call.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I think there's two things that we're now doing here at Rattle to drive additional efficiency specifically for the reps. One of those is custom prompts. So not only for the reps, but the managers. So a lot of the teams we work with, you're doing different trainings at different moments throughout the year. How do we prompt the reps on maybe it's call coaching or talk time, for example? How do we actually give them instance analysis of, hey, here's how much time you spent on this call talking compared to the recipient, and then how much, here are 5 areas of improvement. The other thing we actually do this around, we use the SPICE methodology. How closely did you ask the SPICE questions in regards to this? And again, this is surfaced directly into that deal intelligence room where I myself can see that, an SC could see it, manager, again, that collaboration and that real-time call coaching using AI to leverage that as well.
What's the best prompt that you've been able to find that gives you the best kind of insights real quick?
It's a great question. Honestly, it's we're really focused on champion building, especially in today's tough economic environment. You need somebody that's going to run through a wall for your solution. And so Tom, our head of enablement, he's built these prompts for us. And again, this is that cross collaboration. Like, it's just not me, it's our RevOps team. It's what I'm focused on as leader. And then Tom as well from enablement. So he's built these prompts around champion building. So I can see real time in the deals I'm involved in, like, how did we do building this champion? And then be able to do coaching as we go into the next call ahead of time, right? I'm not searching for the information. I'm not just asking for the gut reaction from the rep or SE or whoever, manager. I'm getting that in real time. And it's been a huge game changer for us, even for the reps, just to realize, hey, I struck out on that one. Okay, what do I need? Which has been huge. The other piece too is if we think about efficiency, is now our follow-up email creation. So being able to create what you called is those email templates of that process of, the mutual action plan email, the precondition email, and automatically prompting that based off the call analysis and where you're at in the deal to quickly surface that information as well as we go forward. So again, really thinking about what you said earlier on, Alex, is how do you create quick action and efficient action using AI while allowing the rep to still, add their color and still add the human element to it as well.
And this is spot on. And this goes back to that concept that, for me, I'm not looking at AI to replace reps. I'm looking at AI to figure out, how do I make my reps 5 times more valuable? And that means having a full calendar of meetings, which means what falls off is all the stuff that you have to do after the meeting, the notes, the follow-up, the action. And there was a good article that was on LinkedIn last week that was talking about this whole idea of, I'm going to wait to send this follow-up because then the customers are going to think I'm super busy and I'm high in demand and they're going to want me more. That's complete BS. Like that, the whole title of this thing is cutting through the BS. That's BS. Get the emails out quick. And so if you can help create that craft it in a way that it presents to me, I can tweak it, add my own color, and then hit send. That's the easy button, right? That's the automation that we need from an AI perspective.
Yep. And then the last piece that we're really focused on as well is that data hygiene. So being able to take that call analysis and immediately prompt the rep in real time. So to your point, I'll fill out Salesforce at the end of the day or later on. You're not going to get that real-time data or the most accurate data. So what we're doing is we're leveraging AI to automatically prompt the reps with the right information to update those critical fields, whether it's close date, whether it's the medic fields based off the call conversation. And again, as you can see, allowing the rep to still manually intervene and add some additional color or context. But again, getting the right steps and the right information and data in real time we've seen it really be really beneficial here at Rattle for us, but also for our customers as well. And taking that thinking out of that step for the reps as well.
Yeah, these are the things that make this, these are the tools that you roll out that sales reps say, man, this is awesome, right? Versus the ones that say, here's another tool we got to go learn. I mean, this is a time saver and huge. RevOps likes it too, because the data is a lot cleaner. You can cut territories better. You get better forecasting. I mean, it just has so many good downhill momentum builders.
Yeah, I know we're coming up on time, but we do have a question from in the Q&A here. And the question is, Alex, what tool are you using to update the CRM for reps?
So we use Salesforce at Twilio. Right now, we started to roll out the ability to update those fields from Rattle. So a lot of the reps are doing it out of Slack, right? In real time in these deal intelligence rooms, they're updating them real quick. We use from a leadership standpoint and forecasting, we've got Clary in there as well. So we've got some data points and connection points between Rattle and Clary to keep things up to date. But the reps, they're living and breathing in Salesforce, and so how do we get them faster access? I mean, we've all used Salesforce. There's always inefficiencies just by scale. As things get bigger, it gets slower, it gets harder to find. We especially Twilio, we're a huge multinational corporation, so there's different idiosyncrasies between regions. So keeping it within Rattle and keeping it within Slack makes it really easy for reps to keep things up to date. So I'm a big fan, and I'll have to give a huge shout out to Sean and Laura on the Twilio side, who put our implementation together along with Brooke, Jesse, and Evan on the Rattle side. These guys are, I mean, it's been freaking awesome. It's nothing short of awesome is how it's been deployed.
Awesome. Yeah, no, Sean and Laura have been fantastic, and appreciate the feedback on the CS organization. Another question just popped in. So would this be used to replace an Outreach.io type of sales engagement software? Still not quite sure where this fits into the tech stack. I'll take this one. No, it's not going to replace your Outreach. In fact, we integrate to Outreach. What this is going to do is this is going to give you that visibility into those opportunities or leads, as an example. So a great example of this is we see a lot of organizations that just struggle with pipeline efficiency. Pipeline efficiency being, responding to leads, getting the demo booked, quick follow-ups, as Alex was talking, cut through the BS, and speed is really important. So with Rattle, we automate those processes and send the right signals from 6sense, Salesforce into Slack to the SDRs or whoever, maybe even to the AEs, to do maybe that quick follow-up. And then through Slack, they can easily pick that cadence through Outreach and send that follow-up. If we're thinking about the AI capabilities we just showed about the email prompts follow-ups, that would be, for example, post a demo conversation, we can integrate to Outreach. So we prompt them with the AI suggested response, and then that can be sent through Outreach as well. So we're not replacing Outreach. We're bringing that tech stack together in one central location, which is Slack at the end of the day. So I hope that helps clarify that. As we go forward, a couple key takeaways. I'll let you kind of share your thoughts, Alex, on what you hope people can take away from today's conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing for me is start thinking and start tinkering with AI quickly. Think of little, small scenarios. I love the Atomic Habits book that talks about getting 1% better. So find that something that you can use AI to make that 1% better. Don't try to replace your entire sales process with it. Pick something that's inefficient and leverage AI to make that a little bit better. And I think you're going to see a pretty big payoff.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here today, joining me. I know you were talking about maybe coming out to Denver and joining me for a little ski trip on top of our RevOps masterclass. But for those in attendance, we are doing a 4-city tour through the month of January, where we'll be bringing RevOps leaders and go-to-market leaders to talk more about not only AI, but just how do you change your go-to-market motions? What are the trends and things happening in the space today as we go into this new fiscal year? So please feel free to join us. Please feel free to reach out to us if you want more information. But again, Alex, I just want to say a huge thank you for taking the time to join me today to talk about some of the trends and what's going on and how you guys are leveraging AI. Appreciate the Twilio team for being a great partner of ours as well. Appreciate everybody that attended today's webinar, and I hope everybody has a great, safe, happy holidays as well. And we will see you guys soon. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks.